Kia ora, the satellite picture showing the large area of low pressure, Cyclone Tam, out to the west of us. That's what's been driving those strong winds across the northern parts of the country. And we've got more of that to come as we head through the rest of today. For Thursday, you can see while the main centre of low is off the coast, we'll have those strong northerly winds with us as we head through the rest of Thursday, bringing that rainfall as well in towards particular places like the Coromandel and the Bay of Plenty, but also starting to feed that rain on towards the top of the South Island. One area of concern, those northwestern parts of the Tasman district. As we head through the night time tonight, the low pressure stays offshore, but will keep hold of those northerly winds, easing off a touch across parts of Northland and Auckland, but still a rather brisk, windy night, but not to the same level as we saw overnight. What we will have, though, those showers sticking with us and the chance of perhaps some rumbles of thunder as we head through the night time through there. Generally a fairly cloudy story across the board. And as we head through towards Friday, we'll find that there's a little change through the Bay of Plenty with that rain sticking with us. There will be some brighter spots, but I think a fair covering of clouds still with these lines of showers running through. Some of those could be fairly heavy at times, and again with that risk of some thunder pushing across from the west. We're looking for some drier weather, perhaps down towards parts of, say, Wanganui and Palmerston North, or even down towards central parts of Otago. But there are still some severe weather watches and warnings in place. Most of these wind warnings and watches are for the rest of today through Thursday and in towards perhaps the early hours of Friday for those wind watches out towards the western side of the North Island there. But we have also got some heavy rain warnings and watches in place. Again, those ones up towards Northland as we go through the daytime today, watching out some thunderstorms this evening. But also these ones that through out towards particularly the Bay of Plenty from midday on Friday, but also these ones out in the far east. They will last through towards Saturday with that rain taking its time to clear through there. And similarly for the likes of, say, the northwestern parts of Tasman, that rain sticking with us through Friday and into Saturday too. So let's take a look at the North Island to start things off on Friday. You can see we have those northerly winds keeping that rainfall feeding in towards those northern parts of the country. Heaviest through the likes of the Great Barrier Island and the Coromandel. We'll find a bit of a clearance between these systems, but there will be still one or two fairly heavy showers that run through. Those darker blues, an indication of some heavier showers that run in through there. A bit of better weather south of, say, the volcanoes, so south of the Central Plateau towards Wanganui, Palmerston North, even down towards Wellington. Things generally a little bit better and brighter through there and not nearly as windy as we'll see through the rest of Thursday. But it is still quite cloudy. I think we'll still find some really intense showers and still that risk of thunderstorms, so well worth keeping up to date with the forecast for your area on the MetService website. But it is going to be an incredibly mild night indeed. Overnight, as we head through in towards the early hours of the morning on Friday, temperatures not much different from what we'll find during the daytime today. And overnight again, Friday in towards Saturday, look at these nighttime figures, 18, 19 degrees Celsius, even here in Wellington, 16 degrees Celsius are overnight temperatures, some very warm air with us as we head through in towards the weekend. Down on the South Island, well, you can see that with the northerly winds coming through, most of the activity is up in the north, particularly through Nelson, Tasman, and across in towards Marlborough. Some heavier falls of rain not out of the question for the likes of, say, the Richmond and Bryant Ranges. We'll keep hold of more cloud on this eastern coast, and that will turn to drizzle for a time as we head in towards at the end of the day through parts of coastal Otago and up in towards Canterbury. Central areas perhaps seeing a bit of clearance as we head through the daytime. As the low pressure gets closer towards us, we'll find some rainfall pushing it back on towards that western coast by the end of the day on Friday. Again, we'll find some pretty warm temperatures, particularly up across those northern parts of the South Island. Down south, we'll still find our temperatures back down to about 18 degrees Celsius by the day, 9 degrees Celsius overnight. But I think that's still pretty good for the time of year. As we go through in towards the weekend, you can see Tam is still sitting out there now. It starts to weaken away quite nicely, but it still has that circulation. So still with more of those northerly winds. So you'll notice we don't really lose this patch of blue out towards the Bay of Plenty or even in towards those northern parts of the South Island. So we're going to keep hold of those heavy rain warnings, places like the Tasman region up towards those northern parts of Tairāwhiti through into Saturday. We'll find more wet weather starting to push on towards the western coast during Saturday, and also starting to feed up through parts of Southland and Otago on Saturday. And by Sunday, you can see we've got some clearer skies across the North Island, particularly those southern halves of the North Island, but still reluctant to clear that rain away from the far north and the east. And still some showers feeding in from the north as well. The low pressure system, much weaker, but stays close towards that western coast. More cloud and wet weather on towards parts of Westland and Bulla. And again, still feeding in towards those northern parts of the Tasman region, the Tairāwhiti National Park. And we'll find that wet weather creeping up in towards Canterbury for Easter Sunday as well. So although I think the windiest day is probably as we head through today, the Thursday, there's still heavy rain warnings that could last through in towards the Easter weekend. And we have still got some warm air over us as well. Plenty happening this week. Do keep an eye on the forecast, and you can find all that information over at metservice.com.